The Tamron 28 to 75mm, is it still a good pickup in 2019 even with its price increase? Coming up. Now for today's video, I'm going to be talking about why I still think that this is the most affordable and versatile lens that is out there for the Sony camera system. This lens has been awesome. I know I'm a little bit late to the party. However, I want to have plenty of time reviewing this lens, not only for photography, but for video also. All right, so let's get into today's review. I'm gonna be going over the price, the construction. I'm gonna show you guys a short film that I shot entirely using this lens, and we're gonna go over a ton of photo samples using this lens. Now on it right now, I have a lens guard and it has that black camo. So if you guys are interested in that, I'm gonna put above right here a review with the promo code. So if you guys do like the aesthetics of this lens, you guys could pick up that skin for you. Let's talk about the photos. I'm gonna be going over portraits, product photography, landscape, nightscapes, even some wildlife. I'm gonna show you tons of examples. I'm gonna zoom in on a lot of them so you guys could see the sharpness, the color rendition, and all that good stuff. So let's brush upon the features. For those of you guys that have been doing your research, you already know that there's been a price increase. When it originally dropped, it came in at $799. Now B&H Photo and a lot of different websites are selling it for $880 due to the demand and the availability of this lens. And there's even 3 on stock right now on Amazon selling for $9.25 with Prime. So we know that's coming from Amazon. So is this lens still worth it if you have to pay a little bit more? And I'm going to say yes. And by the end of this video, I hope you guys agree. Now this lens is a 28mm to 75mm and it's a 2.8 through and through, and this is why I chose this lens to complete my zoom trilogy of lenses. I have the 16 to 35 G Master, the 70-200 G Master, and I did not want to buy the 24 to 70 because then I'd be like 15 G's in the hole. Well, not that much, but almost $10,000 maybe, give or take, buying those 3 lenses. Now I love the zoom focal range of 28 to 75 or 24 to 70, and this lens is my go-to for photography. When I'm going out and I want to travel light, all I need to do is bring this lens. At 28mm, it is incredible for landscapes. Anything from 35 to 75 is awesome for portraits, for product photography, and the minimum focusing distance is like 6 inches. So you can get so close that this is almost a macro lens. So the versatility of this lens that Tamron put out is incredible, and that's why I'm assuming the hike in price went up, because it's in such demand. Now for you videographers out there that were hesitant on purchasing this lens, I understand. Jason Vong and other YouTubers out there did reviews on this lens that's saying that the autofocus was horrible for video. Well, since then, there's been a firmware update that most of the new lenses are already having pre-installed. There's also a couple things we could do to our Sony camera bodies that are gonna make this lens focus incredibly fast. Now what you guys want to do is put your dry speed and track sensitivity on fast and responsive. By doing these 2 tweaks and making sure your version is updated, you're gonna have snappy focus when it comes to video. I promise you guys, you won't have any issues. Speaking of, let's watch my short film. It's only a minute, so you guys could see how versatile this lens is with the type of shots that I got. So let's go ahead and check that out. Alright, so what'd you guys think of that short film? I was out in Puerto Rico and I was documenting professional skateboarder Manny Santiago building some skateboard ramps and then doing a skate demo for the Boys and Girls Club. Now that's not the final product, but I want to put something together for you guys quick so you could see how well this lens works for video. I used it on my Crane 2. I was able to zoom in, zoom out with no balancing issues whatsoever once I balanced it in the middle of that zoom. This way, I could use the complete versatility of this lens, and overall, I'm loving it. Now, some people think this lens isn't wide enough, and I like to agree. I wish it was 24 millimeters. However, beggars, once again, cannot be choosers, and I really think this lens, if you stand back, you could get some awesome establishing shots. You could get awesome detail shots at 75 millimeter, at 50 millimeter, you get that cinematic look at 35 millimeter. So overall, for you video guys out there that were still a little, like on the edge about this lens, go ahead, do yourself a favor and pick it up. So let's talk about the construction really quick. The lens is lightweight. It's lighter than my 16-35 G Master. It is plastic, it's not metal, but it feels really good. It feels high end. The zoom and focus rings are nice and smooth. And with the zoom at 28 millimeters, you're all the way in the back. And when you punch into 75 right there, you're all the way set with the extension, unlike some of the Sony lenses where it's actually reversed, which still doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. Now, there is a nice little aesthetic ring in the back of it that's silver, and it's pretty cool. I mean, the mounting cap is nice. Everything's up to par. I really can't complain about the overall construction of this lens. So let's talk about the photography aspect while using this lens. It's sharp, it's lightweight, and it's super versatile. And by that, I mean, at 28 millimeters, you can get awesome landscape photos. You could jump up to 35 millimeters and do lifestyle and street photography photos. And then from 50 millimeter to 75 millimeter, it's incredible for portraits. This lens has been my go-to for photography, unless I'm shooting landscapes and landscapes only. If I'm going out on the town, like for some cityscapes and stuff like that, I will not leave home without this lens just because it's the only one I need to have on it all day long and I can get the shots that I need. So what we're going to be going over is some photos right now. I'm going to show you some portraits, some lifestyle shots, some product photography, landscapes, cityscapes, nightscapes. I really want to give you guys a lot of different information and photo samples so you guys could see what this lens is capable of. So let's dive into the computer so I could show you these samples and give you my overall thoughts on this lens. All right, so let's get into some photos. For the first image you're seeing, this was down in San Diego, shot at 28 millimeters. This was at f8 with a 20-second exposure. Now, everything looks incredibly sharp, and if we punch in on that background building, we can see so much detail around the edges. There's no chromatic aberration, there's little to no noise in this entire photo, and I love the overall results. Now, the next image that we're checking out was shot at 75 millimeters and at f11. I saw this pelican flying by and I want to get him, so I followed along with the pan. I took a couple photos, and this was shot at 1/200th of a second. If we zoom in a little bit, we can see a crazy amount of detail in his feathers around the edges, and once again, no chromatic aberration, and I love the way that this image came in that split-second moment. Another wildlife photo I'm going to show you, and trust me, I am no professional, of this little gecko that was running across my feet on a log. This was captured also at 75 millimeters, but this time at f2.8, and he's completely sharp from his body to his head. The tail is a little out of focus, but that's probably because of the 2.8 aperture, but I'm very happy with this overall result with the split-second decision to capture him as he was running along. Now, the next couple of photos I'm showing you range from 55 to 75 millimeters, and they're taken at f2.8 to about f5.6 depending on which one, and these are some lifestyle portraits and some product photography incorporated with these portraits of my girlfriend. And overall, I love the color rendition. Now, obviously these photos are edited. I'm not going to take pictures. I'm not going to show you examples with JPEGs because most of you guys that are investing in this type of camera are going to be doing some sort of editing. So I want to show you with using Lightroom the overall results of these photo samples that I am showing you. Now the next silhouette shot was taken at 35mm at f2.8, and this was down in San Clemente, and I really wanted that nice silhouette of the trees framing that bird that was flying across, and also having the pier with the beautiful sunset. And once again, overall, I am very pleased. If you look at the edges of the silhouette of those palm trees, no chromatic aberration whatsoever. This lens, once again, is tack sharp for the amount that we're paying for. Now, last but not least, this was a quick picture of a art exhibit down in Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. This was shot at 50mm and at f5. If I zoom in onto that sign right there, we can clearly make out the letters on the sign, once again showing that this lens is extremely sharp. Now, I'm not going to go to corner charts or anything like that. You guys know that's not my style. So let's jump back into this video and go over my final impressions. Alright guys, so concluding my review on this lens, I think it's amazing. You've seen photo samples, you've seen video samples, you've seen autofocusing with no issues. I think if you're on a budget and you want a really good lens that you can use for pretty much everything and anything that you could think of, this is the go-to lens. There's a reason why this is like the #1 sold lens for the Sony Emount system in the last quarter, and it makes total sense. If you guys own this lens, let me know in the description below. If you guys thought that this review was helpful, if I add some value to you guys by showing you guys this lens, please leave a thumbs up. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. My name's Jason Anthony. Until the next video, guys, I will see you soon. Peace.